What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest concerns that this community has when it comes to Black Ops 3, and that's whether or not exosuits are going to be returning. So, as of right now, we don't really have any new information. So far, all we know is that on this leaked box art image, this soldier is wearing some sort of futuristic body armor. That doesn't mean it's an exosuit, doesn't mean it has the abilities of an exosuit. We can't make any assumptions based off an image, so as of right now, we've got nothing. Hopefully that changes soon. Hopefully we get some new info soon. But what we do know is that a majority of people do not want them to return. So a couple of weeks ago, I put up a poll in a video. It was on the It's All Viral website, and there were over 50,000, almost 60,000 votes in that poll, and over 85% of people did not want to see exosuits return, which is a big majority. Like usually on stuff like that, it's a little bit more even. It's split a little bit more down the middle, but that one was pretty obvious that most people do not want exosuits to return. Now, when thinking about Black Ops 3, I can't see them going all the way back to bare bones Call of Duty. I can't see them going all the way back to where all you do is you run around the map. There are certain areas where you can mantle over walls and stuff like that, and then you can climb ladders and go upstairs. Like, I don't think that's going to be the only way to get around. That just seems a little bit too archaic to me, and I think putting a game out like that right after Advanced Warfare, which has been absolute chaos and absolute mayhem, would just be insane. Like, it would be too big of a change for people. It would turn a lot of people off. So I do think that they're going to have some sort of new movement mechanics, some sort of new movement set that's going to speed the game up at least a little bit. It may not be as blazingly fast as Advanced Warfare was, but I definitely don't think it's going to go all the way back to the super slow, simple times in the past. So I've been trying to think about how they could do this in different ways. This could be done. You know, I'm not sure if they're going to have exosuits or not. Exosuits aren't really the problem. Like, exosuits can have whatever ability you want them to have. They don't necessarily need to have jetpacks with double jumps and stuff like that. It's not the exosuit that's the problem. It's the movement mechanics that people had problems with in Advanced Warfare. So I kind of came up with a pretty cool idea, you know, something that is kind of unique and I think could work out pretty well. I wanted to run it by you guys, see what you guys thought, see if you guys had any ways to improve it or kind of what you guys thought of it and if it'd be something you guys are interested in. And I was just kind of thinking, like, what if they took this more in, like, not necessarily a superhuman ability like double jumping, doing stuff that humans can't actually do direction, but rather in more of a, like, super athletic soldier direction, and more of, like, you know, free running and parkour and stuff like that, to where there's still ways to get around the map relatively quickly, and there's, like, you know, a movement mechanic set to master that's going to make you better than somebody who hasn't mastered it, but it's not absolutely insane flying through the air, floating and going invisible and doing all kinds of craziness like Advanced Warfare. So one of the main things I think of when I'm thinking about this is the removal of the double jump. So I feel like a lot of people that say they don't like exosuits, I feel like they like the exosuits, they just don't like the double jump. Because if you think about it, take the double jump out of Advanced Warfare, and what the exosuit is something that allows you to dodge and slide. And that's really not that big of a deal. Like, that's something that I don't think a lot of people have a problem with. I think most people don't like the exosuit because that double jump, because that's what causes a majority of the things that people complain about. Like, oh, it makes the game too fast. People get across the map in like 3 seconds flat. Take out the double jump, that's not there anymore. What are some other things? Like, people say, like, you never really know where people are coming from. Like, before you used to be able to predict choke points and stuff like that, and now people are just, like, jumping over walls and over corners and buildings and stuff, so they're always coming from above you and below you and behind you and all over the place. So there's, like, some randomness to it, and a lot of people say, like, I hate people bouncing around all over the place and always having to look up rather than just looking in front of me. You know, all these complaints that people have about the exosuits in Advanced Warfare are 100% solved by removing that double jump. That takes it back a lot closer to the old school version of Call of Duty. So imagine having that, but still having some sort of new movement mechanic, like some sort of free running more within the realm of possibility mechanic. Like, think about Brink. Some of you guys might remember Brink. It was a first-person shooter, came out like 4 or 5 years ago. It really wasn't that popular. It kind of flopped. It had quite a few problems, but it was still a cool concept for a game of, like, shooting mixed with free running. Think about Mirror's Edge. That had a little bit of shooting in it, not quite as much, but you guys get the idea of that, like, free running aspect. Think about, like, the free running videos you watch on YouTube. I'm sure you guys have watched that. Some of those guys are absolutely insane. They do stuff that almost looks superhuman, but it's more in the realm of possibility than double jumping and having crazy jetpacks in your back and stuff like that. So I was just kind of thinking, like, what if that's the direction they took? What if they made it a little bit more realistic to where rather than double jumping to everything and boosting around the map like a madman, what if you had to be a little bit more realistic and use, like, you know, jump onto a car and then use that to jump up to the second story of a building? You know, it was a little bit more fluent, like maybe there's a little bit of wall running in there, not quite like Titanfall wall running. That was kind of superhuman where you're like jumping from building to building across streets and going up skyscrapers and all kinds of crazy stuff. But what if there was, like, you know, you could take a couple of steps along a wall, so you could like run from like the first story balcony to a second story balcony, or run like along like the edge of a stairway to jump up to the second story railing, or things like that. Like, that's stuff you see in real life, and that would be cool to see in Call of Duty, because again, it speeds up the gameplay to an extent. It brings kind of like a new feature, a new set to it. It's something else you can master and become good at, but it's not absolutely insane. And it's not quite as outlandish as Advanced Warfare was. So, I don't know. It's kind of an idea I've been playing around with. What do you guys think about that? Like, somewhat of a new mechanic system that speeds the game up, but it's not insane. It's more of like a boots on the ground, yet you're still moving around a little bit more fluidly than you were before. I don't know. It's kind of an idea I've had. I wanted to see what you guys thought about that. Feel free to leave comments down below. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys check out these two videos on the screen if you haven't seen them yet. I actually put up a video earlier yesterday that talked about some pretty interesting stuff regarding like cybernetics and humans mixed with robots and all kinds of stuff in Black Ops 3. It's a pretty cool theory, so I hope you guys check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.